thousands of miles over open ocean. No map, no GPS, no wrong turns. It turns out this isn't instinct. It's a biological superpower science is only now beginning to explain. Hidden inside a bird's eye is a quantum-level sensor that lets it literally see Earth's magnetic field. Iron-rich cells in its beak double as a compass. The night sky doubles as a map. This isn't luck. It's the most advanced navigation system on the planet, and it's flying right over your head. Let's start with the eye, because that's where this story gets strange. Inside the retina of a migratory bird sits a protein called cryptochrome. It's sensitive to blue light. When photons hit it, something remarkable happens at the molecular level. An electron jumps from one part of the molecule to another, creating what's known as a radical pair. Two unpaired electrons linked spinning in a delicate quantum state. Here's where it gets wild. Earth's magnetic field is faint, weaker than a refrigerator magnet, but it's strong enough to nudge the spin of those electrons one way or another, and that tiny nudge changes the chemistry of the reaction happening in the bird's eye, second by second, depending on which direction the bird is facing. The result isn't a compass needle. It's something closer to a visual overlay, a pattern of light and shadow laid over the bird's normal vision, shifting as it turns its head. Some researchers believe birds may actually see magnetic north, the way we see color. Now, the catch. Quantum effects like this are fragile. In a physics lab, they're preserved with super-cooled equipment and near-total isolation from outside interference. A bird's eye is warm, wet, and chaotic, the last place you'd expect delicate electron spin states to survive for more than a fraction of a second. And yet, they do. Long enough to matter. Long enough to steer a 4-ounce songbird across an ocean. Scientists still don't fully understand how biology manages to protect this reaction from collapsing. It shouldn't work, but it does. And it's one of the strongest pieces of evidence we have that quantum mechanics isn't confined to laboratories. It's operating quietly inside a living eye right now. But sight is only one input. Birds don't rely on a single sensor. They layer them. Move to the upper beak and you'll find something else entirely. A dense cluster of neurons packed with iron-rich particles. Unlike the eye's light-dependent reaction, these cells appear to respond directly to the strength of the magnetic field, not just its direction. That distinction matters. Direction tells a bird which way is north. Intensity tells it something closer to where it is, because the magnetic field isn't uniform across the globe. It's stronger near the poles, weaker near the equator, and it varies in signature from region to region, almost like a fingerprint. Put those two systems together, the eye's directional sense and the beak's positional sense, and you get something closer to a live GPS fix than a simple compass. One system says this way is north, the other says, and specifically, this is where you are on the globe. Together, they update in real time as the bird flies, altitude and all. And still, that's not the whole toolkit. Migratory birds also read the sky. Every clear evening, as the sun sets, birds recalibrate using the pattern of polarized light that spreads across the sky from the setting sun. Invisible to us, but visible to birds attuned to it. This daily reset keeps their internal compass accurate, correcting for any drift the magnetic sensors might accumulate. Young birds go a step further. On their very first migration, often flying completely alone with no adult to follow, they rely on a memorized map of the night sky. Specifically, they memorize the region of stars that doesn't appear to rotate, the area around the celestial pole. Before they've ever left the nest, chicks spend weeks watching the sky rotate around this fixed point, effectively hardwiring a star chart into memory before their first flight. This system isn't foolproof, though. Modern tracking data shows that artificial light, city glow, stadium lighting, offshore rigs, can scramble these celestial cues, pulling birds off course or causing disorientation during flight. Some populations are adjusting their routes entirely to avoid heavily lit regions. a real-time behavioral response to a completely modern problem their ancient navigation system was never built for. So, what we're left with isn't one mysterious instinct. It's a layered, redundant sensory network. Quantum-level light detection in the eye, magnetic intensity sensing in the beak, celestial calibration at dusk, and inherited star maps passed down before a single wing beat. 4 independent systems, cross-checking each other, correcting for error, adjusting for interference, running continuously, without training, without a single line of code. Call it instinct if you want, but instinct doesn't explain quantum entanglement surviving in a warm eyeball. It doesn't explain iron-based magnetometers in a beak. It doesn't explain a chick memorizing the rotation of the night sky before it can fly. What we're actually looking at is millions of years of evolutionary engineering, sensory hardware so precise that human researchers are now studying it to design better biomimetic navigation systems, ones that don't rely on satellites at all. The next time you see a bird cross the sky, remember, it isn't just flying. It's running 4 separate navigation systems at once, systems so precise we're still trying to reverse engineer them in a lab. And every mile of that journey depends on clear skies, dark nights, and untouched migratory corridors still existing for it to follow. Which raises the real question. As our lights and our world keep expanding, are we ready to protect the paths that make this possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if this blew your mind the way it did ours, hit subscribe. We're just getting started uncovering nature's hidden engineering.